Imagine you were standing at the track, right? And you're watching a horse that literally brought 60,000 grown adults to tears.
Which is just an unbelievable image.
It really is. And she didn't do it by being some, flawless, untouchable, wire-to-wire champion. She did it through these just heartbreaking near misses and shocking official penalties. And, once by losing a massive race by exactly 2 centimeters.
Yeah.
We are looking at the career of a Japanese racehorse named Buena Vista.
A true legend.
Exactly. Because some horses are champions and some become icons. But Buena Vista she was like the heroine of a sports movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Our mission today for this deep dive is to explore how a horse with 6 G1 victories, which is the absolute pinnacle of the sport and just staggering natural talent, actually became universally beloved. Not for her perfection, but for her incredible vulnerability.
Right, and the sheer fighting spirit she brought to the track.
Yeah. And whether you are a die-hard racing fan or just someone who appreciates a great underdog story, this is going to hook you. Because this story is a masterclass in why you connect so much more deeply with resilience, than you do with absolute perfection.
But to really get why she was seen as this beloved underdog, we actually have to go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Because we must understand the massive expectations she was born into.
Oh, she wasn't an underdog on paper.
Not at all. But we have to move chronologically here to her origins to show that she was racing royalty from day one.
Literally day one, born March 14, 2006 at Northern Farm.
Right. And her parents were absolute titans. Her sire, her father, was Special Week. And her mother, was the legendary mare Biwa Heidi.
Who was already famous for producing multiple graded winners. Yeah.
Exactly. The pedigree is just impeccable. And her name, Buena Vista, it actually means beautiful view in Spanish.
Which is highly appropriate for how she looked running down the stretch later on.
So true. So she enters trainer Hiroyoshi Matsuda's stable for her 2-year-old season, and the hype is huge. Everyone expects a coronation.
But it doesn't go perfectly at all. Her debut race was actually really flawed. She broke slowly out of the gate and ended up finishing 3rd.
Which is usually a massive red flag for a horse with that kind of elite bloodline.
Okay, let's unpack this because you really need to understand the context here. Imagine you go to a random high school basketball game, right? You see a kid lose, and you think, well, they aren't that great. But then years later, it turns out everyone else on that court ended up in the NBA Hall of Fame. That's this maiden race?
Yes. What's fascinating here is the sheer caliber of the horses that actually beat her that day.
Yeah.
Because early failure usually lowers expectations, right?
Right.
But look at who was in that race. You had Unrivaled, who would go on to win the Satsuki Show. You had Reach the Crown, a future Derby runner-up.
Wow.
And 3 Rolls, the future Kikishift winner.
Just an insane lineup.
It really was. And all 4 of them, including Buena Vista, would later run in the prestigious Arima Kinnan against the best of the best.
So it wasn't a bad loss at all. It's remembered as a legendary debut.
Exactly. The insane caliber of her peers in that debut actually foreshadowed her elite ceiling.
And she proved it fast. I mean, she wins her 2nd race, her maiden race, super convincingly, and then she moves on to the Hanshin Juvenile Fillies.
A major 2-year-old championship.
Right, and this is where the world finally saw her signature move. She drops all the way to the back of the field, and then down the stretch, she unleashes this terrifying outside run from the very back. Just blows past everyone.
It takes so much explosive energy to run like that.
She won with ease and captured the exact same 2-year-old championship race that her mother, Biwa Heidi, did. Mother and daughter, both champions. She was named Best 2-Year-Old Filly right then and there.
But there is a crucial physical detail we have to mention here. Because unlike muscular powerhouse mares like, say, Vodka or Gentle Donna.
Oh, yeah, those massive horses.
Right. Unlike them, Buena Vista had a delicate, almost fragile frame.
Wait, let me just push back on that for a second. How does a horse that looks fragile physically dominate in a sport full of these muscular powerhouses? I mean, she's weaving through traffic from the back of the pack. It almost defies physics. How does she not get bullied out of the way?
It's all about acceleration versus sheer top-end speed. Because she had that lighter build, she had a sudden, explosive turn of foot. A massive horse takes a few strides to get going, but Buena Vista could change gears instantly and shoot through a gap before anyone could close it.
Like a sports car dodging heavy trucks.
Exactly. And her delicate frame is vital to her story. Her physical fragility made those explosive last-to-first closing runs seem heroic. It seemed almost miraculous, setting the stage for her really dramatic career.
And amazingly, she stayed healthy enough to run 6 or 7 major races every single year with that build.
Which is incredible durability.
Totally. So that dramatic closing speed made her a champion at 2. But as we move into her 3-year-old season, that exact same racing style introduces these fierce rivalries and, well, devastating bad luck.
At age 3, the hype around her was just overwhelming.
And she delivered it first. She dominated the Tulip Show. Then she won the Oka Show and the Japanese Oaks. She became the first filly to complete the spring double tiara. Still in love.
But it wasn't easy. A really desperate rivalry formed with a horse named Red Desire.
Yeah, Red Desire just kept trying to hold her up at the front. Buena Vista barely won their first 2 matchups. It took unbelievable late kicks from impossible positions to get past her.
She was so good, though, that they even considered the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe in Europe.
The biggest race in the world. But they canceled it after she lost the Sapporo Kinnin. And then we get to the Shuka Show. The triple tiara is on the line.
And this is where everything went wrong.
Everything. Red Desire finally beat her by a nose, just a brutal physical loss. But then it gets worse. The stewards ruled that Buena Vista interfered with another horse during that crazy late charge, and they demoted her.
From 2nd down to 3rd.
Yeah. The triple tiara dream literally vanished in a ruling. Here's where it gets really interesting, though. In human sports, a bad referee call or a penalty is one thing. But how rare and devastating is an official demotion at this elite triple tiara level of racing?
That's crushing. To lose by a nose is one thing. You just weren't fast enough that day. But a demotion, it means you ran the race, you had the speed, but a split-second drift ruined it.
It's an institutional defeat.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this string of bad luck cemented her narrative. The sharp contrast between her sheer dominance in the spring double tiara and then this sudden string of near misses and penalties, it completely transformed her.
From an untouchable prodigy into a relatable, tragic underdog.
Precisely.
And she kept fighting, but she suffered more painful near misses. Queen Elizabeth II Cup. She came flying, but just too late, finished 3rd. Arima Kinnin, breathtaking late charge, but she was held off by Dream Journey and finished 2nd.
Agonizingly close. But she was still named Best 3-year-old filly because the talent was undeniable.
You would think that heartbreak would break her spirit, but her 4-year-old season somehow dialed up both the dominance and the unbelievable drama.
She was incredibly consistent at 4. From the Kyoto Kinnin through the Arima Kinnin, she never finished outside the top 2.
Just wild. She won the Victoria Mile with another ridiculous last-to-first run, and then she dominated the Tennis-Show Autumn with a perfect, controversy-free G1 victory against the boys.
But then came the 2010 Japan Cup.
Yeah. The crowd is going nuts. She crosses first. Over 100,000 people explode. And then the stewards review the race.
Heartbreak all over again.
They ruled she drifted and blocked Rose Kingdom, and they demoted her from 1st to 2nd, taking away a massive G1 win, an incredibly rare 2nd demotion for her career.
And right after that, she runs the Arima Kinnin.
And loses to Victor Pisa by exactly 2 centimeters.
2 centimeters, after running thousands of meters.
2 centimeters, that's the width of a peanut. I mean, is she just incredibly unlucky? Or does her style of racing from the very back of the pack inherently invite this kind of chaos and interference?
This raises an important question, really, about the risk and reward of her running style. When you're behind 15 horses, you have to navigate a wall of bodies. If you drift even slightly while sprinting that fast, you'll cut someone off. So yes, the style invites chaos.
It's a high-wire act.
Exactly. But what's really poetic is that this habit of creating heartbreak wasn't just random, it was in her blood. She mirrored her father, Special Week, who also had this habit of terrible timing and dramatic, nail-biting finishes.
She inherited the family drama, but despite the demotion and losing by a peanut, she still earned over 1 billion yen that year, only the 2nd mare after Vodka to ever do that. And she was named Best Older Mare and Horse of the Year.
Which brings us to her 5-year-old season, and this is the twilight of her career. The physical toll of her high-wire acts and the bad luck finally seemed to catch up with her.
Yeah, this creates the ultimate test of her legacy, right? How does a fading star answer her critics? Because age 5 starts rough. She challenges the Dubai World Cup, but struggles on Maidan's all-weather surface. She finishes 8th.
The first time she ever finished outside the top 3 in her life.
And Japanese horses Victor Pisa and Transcend went 1-2 in that exact same race.
Just brutal. And back in Japan, the close losses just continued.
She lost the Victoria Mile by a neck to a punnet. She got second in the Takarazuka Kinnin to Earnestly, and the tennis show Autumn, the pace was perfect for her. But Turson Jordan set a world record time, and she just couldn't catch him.
So for the first time, people really started asking, is she declining?
And for the first time in 19 races, she was not the betting favorite entering the Japan Cup. 19 races.
But this is where she delivers the ultimate cinematic comeback.
Yes, she wins the Japan Cup. Dramatically, cleanly. And in doing so, she matched her father, Special Week, who also won it, father and daughter, both champions. So what does this all mean?
Well, it confirms the narrative arc is just complete. Winning the Japan Cup when no one expected her to, especially after losing it via demotion the year before, it cements her legend.
It's a giant middle finger to the doubts.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's the perfect dramatic conclusion to her career.
She ran her final race after that, finishing 7th in the Arima Kinnin against the newly crowned Triple Crown champion Orfevel. She retired with 23 starts, 9 wins, and 6 G1s.
A phenomenal record.
But the record isn't the story. I want to talk about her retirement ceremony at Nakayama Racecourse. Over 60,000 fans gathered.
So many of them were just crying in the stands.
Yeah, and the television cameras captured this unforgettable image. As she was led around the track, Buena Vista herself appeared to be crying.
Coincidence or emotion? It didn't matter. The fans never forgot it.
Never. The sources make it so clear numbers alone don't explain Buena Vista. She was loved not because she was perfect, but because she kept fighting beautifully, even when victory slipped away by a matter of inches.
She was the embodiment of resilience.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more.